Well, I didn't put a date on any of my books. I mean, I did certainly assume that it would have happened by now, but I didn't say this is the year that it's going to happen. I just said it's going to happen. And, it doesn't necessarily shock me that we've been able to kick the can down the road for so long. I mean, probably it's because it's been a slow process. So I think if you could have gone back in time to Peter Schiff in 2011 and say, hey, 10 years later, this is what the debts would be, and there wouldn't have been a problem, that would have surprised me. But the problem is, I've lived through the last 10 years. So it's just like a slow grinding process. So I'm never surprised that we're able to kick the can for another 6 months, then another 6 months. But looking back on it, I would have been surprised back then if you messengered through time, had 10 years had gone by. And I would certainly be surprised if somebody came from the future, from the year 2031, and said, you know what, we're still kicking the can, no problem. The Dow is 200,000 or whatever. And, the national debt is 100 trillion, right? And so far, so good, right? That would surprise me, right? If I found that out. But I'm sure if I lived through it, slowly, that I guess I would be able to accept it. But I can't see where we're going to pull all those rabbits out of the hat to get us to that point. We got to have a crash, and the government won't be able to bail us out with it. I mean, you can't do it, because once the crash is the dollar, then it's all over. See, as long as the dollar holds up, the government can bail everybody out, because how does it bail everybody out? Well, it gives them dollars. But if the dollars are what's crashing, then there's no bailout, because what good is it if the government gives you dollars to bail you out of a dollar crisis? Because now you have more dollars and you've exacerbated the crisis, because now you've added to the supply. So the only way to deal with a dollar crisis is to bail nobody out, right? And so when we get to that point, it's everybody for himself. That's why people have got to take action now to prevent themselves. I mean, the problem is going to be the people who decided, aha, Schiff is right, there's going to be a dollar crash, so I'm putting all my money in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin may crash before the dollar, and then what are you going to do? And so don't do that, right? If you want to put a little bit of money in Bitcoin, take a shot, all right? I mean, I'm not going to say you can't gamble with a little bit in Bitcoin. I mean, I choose not to do it because I'm pretty sure it's a losing bet. But if other people want to make the bet, but you got to keep it in perspective. Do not put the safe money that you don't want to lose into Bitcoin, right? Put your gambling money that you're willing to lose, right? Most people, there is a balance, how much of their net worth they're willing to throw away on a long shot and how much they want to protect because they can't afford to lose it. So the money that you can't afford to lose shouldn't be in the dollar, because you'll end up losing your purchasing power, but it also shouldn't be in Bitcoin or any cryptocurrencies. But money that you're willing to gamble with, right, in order to hit the home run and hey, if I lose it all, no big deal, fine. You want to put some of that in Bitcoin, that's okay.
All right. Well, we agree to disagree on the Bitcoin, but I want to talk.
So you think it's safe though? You think you should put your retirement savings all in Bitcoin? And
I put all my retirement savings into Bitcoin, Peter. Don't get mad. I put all my retirement savings into Bitcoin.
Well, the only good thing is you're so young, although apparently you're not as young as I think you are. But when you lose all your money in Bitcoin, since your retirement is many, many decades into the future, you'll have the opportunity to replenish what you've lost and rebuild your retirement. And because we can't pay the debts we have, we just take on even more debt to paper it over. So we go deeper and deeper into debt. It's like somebody that can't pay their MasterCard, so then they get a Visa, and then they pay their MasterCard with their Visa. And now they need another credit card to pay that one. They just keep, delaying the day of reckoning. But each time they do that, they just go deeper and deeper into debt. Well, I don't even think the average person even thinks about any of that. The average person just, just takes everything for granted and assumes that, there's some kind of invisible horn of plenty and that whatever we need is somehow there. And for some reason, the powers that be are greedy and just, preventing everybody from having all this good stuff. And that we just need the government to just unlock it and share it with us or something like that. So it's not about why doesn't the average person get this? It's why doesn't the average economist get it? Why don't people who have PhDs in economics, who are working for government, who are working for some of the biggest banks in the country, why don't they get it? Right? That's because they've been studying it their whole lives. They're supposed to be smart. And so if those people don't get it, how is the average guy on the street who doesn't have any formal education in economics or finance, how are they supposed to get it? And, it's amazing to me how, many people don't understand something that's so simple. But I think it's because so many other people are trapped in the same delusion. That's part of the problem, because a lot of the people who have PhDs, they didn't always have PhDs. They were students and they went to college and they were educated by people who also didn't know what they were doing. So they didn't get educated, they got indoctrinated. So their entire education process, they learned the wrong things. So they get these degrees and they think they're really smart, but they learn from a bunch of fools. So they didn't really learn anything. And, also I think in order to get appointed to any kind of high position in government, you can't be a free market economist because they don't want you. They want the economists that are going to rubber stamp their spending plans. So you only get to be up on the president's Council of Economic Advisors or something like that if you are, a Keynesian and you just believe in big government. But then those are the prestigious economists that everybody wants. All the Wall Street firms want the economists that worked for government because that's where they have their status. And of course, all the big universities, the professors there, it's all socialists on the campus of American universities. So they're not teaching free market capitalism. They just want professors to validate big government and how government can help the economy. So, you have so much bad, thought, understanding out there. And then it's all reinforced because everybody else thinks the same way. But there are people out there, there are really free market Austrian economists who get it. They're just drowned out by a chorus of Keynesians that have, a much bigger soapbox to stand on. And of course, all the mainstream media is pretty much far left. And so they're not really giving any airtime to free market oriented economists. They're accepting what these government economists say or Wall Street economists say, and they're not questioning it.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.